Coming up today on Daily Iowan TV, find out what counseling services are about to change.
And later, I show you why politics never seems to sleep here in Iowa.
We take a closer look at the Penn State offense.
And we give you our predictions coming up.
Will these temperatures cool down? Stay tuned to find out more.
All that and more coming up.
Daily Iowan TV starts now. Good morning and thanks for joining us. I'm Cole Johnson.
And I'm Becca Scadden. Senator Joni Ernst is visiting the Iowa Memorial Union later today. Daily Iowan TV reporter Christopher Cervantes is at the scene with more.
Thanks, Becca. Later today, Joni Ernst will be giving her town hall meeting right here in the Iowa Memorial Union. Senator Ernst's previous speaking engagements here in the university area have been tumultuous, to say the least. She is scheduled to speak at 2:30, but protesters have already planned a rally a mere 30 minutes before on the IMU lawn. Previous town hall engagements have focused heavily on the topic of health care. With the GOP considering new options to the Affordable Care Act, this time around seems no different. Other topics more than likely to be brought up include immigration reform, college tuition, and the situation with North Korea. Make sure to tune in Monday morning where we will give you the full rundown of today's meeting. Becca, Cole, back to you guys at the desk.
This year, the University of Iowa rolled out new developments to its counseling services. 6 new staff members were brought on this summer, and as of last semester, counselors are also stationed in the residence halls.
What we hope you'll begin to see is more communication across campus about if students are struggling with or having issues with or negative thoughts, that they will start to utilize those embedded counselors.
September is Suicide Prevention Month. The UI hopes that by making it easier for students to access these resources, they can help combat this problem.
But this is a time when it's important for you to sort of pay attention to what's happening with your peers, and if students feel or seem to share information that is concerning, feeling comfortable to either connect those folks with other resources.
University Counseling Services is holding a grand opening celebration for the new Eastside campus location next week. Stick with Daily Iowan TV for more on the expansion services off campus.
UI President Bruce Harreld announced that Dan Reid will step down from his leadership role at the University of Iowa. Reid has led the University of Iowa's research and economic development. Yesterday, he said at a health event is contributing to Reid's decision to step down. Reid will still remain at his current position until a replacement can be found. Harreld is yet to name a new vice president for research and economic development. Once a replacement is found, Reid will remain a professor at the university.
Liliane Bettencourt died at age 94 yesterday. The Bettencourt family founded L'Oreal and has 33% stake in the company. Bettencourt is known as the wealthiest woman in the world. According to Forbes, her estimated net worth is $39.5 billion. She left L'Oreal's board in 2012. Her father, Eugene Schuler, founded a hair dye company in 1909, which later turned into L'Oreal. Today, the company is the world's largest cosmetics company.
Tonight, Van Allen Observatory is hosting a public viewing to look at Jupiter and Saturn. They'll have 2 separate stands that will hold C8 telescopes.
This event takes place on the top of the Van Allen building. The event will be open from 8 to 10 p.m. You can stay the whole time or just drop by and check out the stars.
The UI Student Observatory is subject to change due dates due to weather. To keep updated on this event and times, check out their Facebook page at Van Allen Observatories.
Well, that will be really nice, especially with all this fall weather. I'm really excited. It's the first day of fall. How have you been feeling about it?
Yeah, super excited for fall weather, but to me it still feels like summer outside. So let's toss it over to Susanna in the weather studio to see if we're going to be seeing some fall temps.
Yeah, guys. For September, this high heat is very unusual. Yesterday, the high reached 91 degrees with 72% humidity, which caused the Iowa City Community School District to issue a 2-hour early dismissal. The elementary schools dismissed at 12:55 p.m., and the high schools were let out at 2 o'clock p.m. The district plans to update and add air conditioning to all schools across this district within the next several years. The district superintendent, Stephen Murley, sent out an email to parents stating, when faced with adverse weather conditions, the district does everything possible to maintain regular operating schedule. The safety and health of students and staff are our first concern in these situations. Now looking at our weather for tomorrow, it looks like the high heat will stick around as we are expecting a high of 92 degrees and sunny skies. Temperatures for the football game on Saturday will stay in the 90s with a few stray clouds, but dipping down to 67 degrees at night. Now let's take a look at our 5-day extended forecast. Sunday, the heat will stay in the 90s, but slowly throughout the rest of the week, we can expect to see temperatures cooling down. On Monday and Tuesday, we're looking at possible scattered thunderstorms, and by Wednesday, the high will only reach 70 degrees, as well as on Thursday. I am so glad to see these temperatures cooling off this coming week. That's all we have for weather this time. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Susanna. It's been revealed that former NFL star Aaron Hernandez suffered from CTE when he died last April. Chronic traumatic encephalopathy, more commonly known as CTE, is a brain disease caused by repeated blows to the head. The NFL has been under scrutiny for the last few years about decades of neglecting player safety, especially regarding concussions. Hernandez took his own life while in prison for his murder sentence. There is no evidence between his suicide and the CTE diagnosis.
France is considering not sending their athletes to the 2018 Winter Olympics. From February 9th to February 25th, the Winter Olympics will take place in South Korea, only 50 miles from North Korea. The French sports minister Laura Flessel has said that if their security cannot be assured, then the French team will not travel to the Olympics. On September 3rd, North Korea conducted their 6th and largest nuclear missile test, which has drawn global criticism. Yesterday, Trump announced new sanctions against North Korea in order to isolate the nation further.
Yesterday, Run Krandic announced they will host running events that will go from Cedar Rapids to Iowa City. The event will take place on April 29th. There will be 3 different running events, a marathon, half marathon, and a 5K. The marathon route will start at the Nuevo City District. If you take a look at the screen, the bulk of the marathon runs along 965 before going through North Liberty and finally reaching out to Iowa City, where the race ends at Kinnick Stadium. Run Krandic is also planning to have a pre-party for the events at the Nuevo City. When all the events conclude, they will have an after-party at Big Grove Brewery and Tap Room in Iowa City.
Well, Cole, we've got our first night game this weekend.
Yeah, it should be really exciting playing Penn State. And Iowa has actually beat 3 top 5 teams the last time they played in Kinnick Stadium.
So I guess we'll have to see what happens this weekend.
Definitely.
Let's toss it over to Mary Kate for our pregame show. Mary Kate.
Thanks, guys. Welcome into our pregame show and happy kickoff to the Big Ten season. Once again, I'm Mary Kate Herian, and here with me is Zach Mackey. Let's start off, Zach. Roughish game last week against North Texas. What did you see from Iowa?
Well, it was a little bit of a slow start there. We were a little bit nervous going into halftime down, but all of a sudden the offense started clicking. It was one of those things, too, where you kind of shot yourself in the foot a couple of times with a fumble in the end zone. The celebration penalty as well took 2 scores off the board, and that's never easy.
No, and it would have been a completely different game if those 2 penalties, the fumble and then what happened with Wadley didn't happen. The defense did pick it up in the second half, which was good to see, but if they play the way they played last Saturday, tomorrow,
you're nervous?
It's going to be a mess. No, it's going to be a repeat of last year all over again. But Penn State's offense has one of the top duos in the country with running back Saquon Barkley and quarterback Trace McSorley. Let's start off with Barkley. Big Ten Player of the Year last year. Last season, he is 38 for 307 yards in rushing with 3 touchdowns. He is also leading in receiving with 11 for 241 yards with 2 touchdowns. He is the entire package and definitely a Heisman candidate. These guys talked about their game plan to stop Barkley and attack as soon as he touches the ball. But what are these guys going to have to do to stop him?
Man, what a talent he is. He's going to be really fun to watch. But another guy who's coming into Kinnick here in a night game situation who many are saying could win the Heisman Trophy. So it's a chance to see one of the best right now in Saquon Barkley. And boy, is he dynamic. He's going to get a lot of carries, you better believe.
The guys had a lot to say about Barkley, so take a look.
Very explosive. He's fast. He can run and catch the ball. We're going to have to use great pursuit on him. And all their players, they got many good players, and just rock and roll with the ball.
His size and speed, I'd say, he really, when he's in the open field, he's tough to bring down, with one guy. I think that's what makes him super dangerous.
We got to leverage the ball, run to the ball, make sure no cutback lanes are open. That's how big plays happen, and we just got to tackle. He's just a powerful back. He's fast, powerful. He's 230, whatever, something like that, 6 foot, 230. So he's strong, he's powerful. You got to wrap up.
All right, so McSorley, he has thrown 51 of 76 with 753 yards and 9 touchdowns. His career passing total is 4,812, which ranks him at 10th in program history. He has 40 touchdown passes in his collegiate career, which is the 7th most in the Penn State record books. What have you seen from McSorley, and what do you expect to see on Saturday?
Well, he's kind of a guy that came on the scene all of a sudden. Not a lot of hype coming into the season, but he's a good quarterback, but he's got some real weapons too, because he makes you think. He's able to throw it down the field, but yet he's got maybe a Heisman Trophy winning running back in the background as well to be able to hand it off. So you can't predict it, what's going to come next, and I think he uses that to his advantage.
The defense also talked on Tuesday about what they expect to see from McSorley.
He's explosive again. He can throw the ball and he can run the ball. We're gonna have to, keep eyes on him. And like I said, they got many good players, and they'll come ready to play, and so will we.
And they can be a pretty big play team, especially with the quarterback running around in the backfield and just slinging it, after a while. So we're just gonna have to be, doing our jobs and be able to keep him contained and then staying in coverage.
Well, I think he's a good player, and I think if we just play our keys and just play the defense called, I think.
Last year's game, Penn State only allowed 30 rushing yards against Iowa and beat the Hawkeyes 41-14 and completely ran all over them in Happy Valley. The guys touched on the game from last year a little bit on Tuesday and asked about seeking revenge, but they said that wasn't what it was about for them. They are a completely different team. But I mean, for the guys that did go to last year's game, this does have to mean a little something extra to them. Plus, it's the first Big Ten game of the season, and I mean, how many times do you get the number 3 team in the country coming into your house for a chance for an upset?
Yeah, you got to believe that's in the back of the mind. I mean, you don't forget that too easily. There were guys, a lot of guys, obviously, that were on that trip that were there, and it wasn't fun for a lot of people if you were wearing black and gold.
Yeah, Parker Hesse talked about on Tuesday too how that plane ride was the longest plane ride of his life coming back from Penn State. And Kirk also touched on some of the guys that are starting this year weren't even on the travel team last year. But, everyone saw that game. I think even the fans want some revenge coming up on Saturday. But let's go to prediction time. Zach, what do you think? Iowa again, I'm assuming?
Well, I think it's hard to bet against the Hawkeyes in a night game, okay? You got the last couple of opponents. It hasn't been good for Penn State. Anytime they've tried to come to Iowa City, Kinnick's going to be rocking. It's going to be a real hostile environment. I'm going to take the Hawkeyes and try to stay perfect 4-0.
Oh, shocker. Weird. I am going to take Penn State. I really want to take Iowa, but just by the numbers, I can't do it. I have some faith that I either think it's going to be a very close game and Iowa's going to somehow come out with it again, and I'm going to be wrong.
14-13?
Yeah, again. Or it's going to be a repeat of last year. I hope it's not, but they cannot play the way they played last week. They need to they need to make some changes from last week, and I don't know. I hope you're wrong, and I hope I'm right, just for record purposes. But that is it for us from the sports studio. Kickoff is at 6:30 on ABC as the Hawks take on number 3 Penn State under the lights in Kinnick Stadium.
Come back every Friday to watch right here, Mary Kate and myself break down each of Iowa's opponents. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks for that, guys. And that's all we have for you on Daily Iowan TV.
Be sure to check out our website, dailyiowan.com, for all the latest news this week. For Daily Iowan TV, I'm Becca Skadden.
And I'm Cole Johnson. Have a great day.
Breaking down barriers long before we knew they existed. Dottie Ray, a revolutionary trailblazer and Iowa City radio personality for over 50 years. Foundation builder for journalists. Please join us in sharing Dottie Ray's story on the big screen. After the showing, a panel discussion about Dottie's life will follow. It's all part of Habitat for Humanity's She Built the Future. For more information, please contact Habitat for Humanity.